Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2, and the blushes of the Arsenal squad are saved by what was an absolutely brilliant finish by Declan Rice and a lovely finish at the back post by Leandro Trossard. Super sub there. I'm joined by Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, how you doing, mate? Good to be here.
I'm good. Not the best day, a bad day at the office, we can say. Arsenal were not good today, pretty much across the majority of the pitch. Going forward, there was no sort of finesse, guile. The final end product was poor. Just a frustrating day for many of the players today, but then saved at the end. Managed to get a point out of it. And from 2-0 down with near 10 minutes to go, you would have thought that the game was pretty much over and it was just a case of making sure we don't concede anymore. But to get a point out of the game, I mean, that could be a very important game come the end of the season.
Oh yeah, I mean, when it got to the last quarter of the game, I was just sort of I gave up really because I couldn't see where the goal was going to come from. I mean, after 10 minutes, we looked off. We didn't look. Like how we normally look. I mean, we haven't been starting sort of majorly fast all this season, really. But they were saying about the way we started, and then, mistakes started to sort of come into the game, and the defence wasn't like how it normally is, and midfield really never grabbed hold of it, and there was no. There was no sort of flair in the midfield where, they was getting the ball forward to the forwards, and the forwards, even when we did, the forwards didn't look great, and there was a lot of sloppy mistakes. But we come away with a 2-2, which I'll take now. Certainly, it feels a little bit like a win, to be honest with you.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So look, we move on. We move on now. We move on. We just got to put this to one side. Would I have taken 2-2 at the beginning of the game?
Probably not.
Would have probably not. But look, these results happen. In the Premier League. We came. People say like, is that what champions are made of? So. Maybe it'll give us something, but I'm sure Arteta won't be happy with the performance.
No, he definitely won't. And let's get through to the player ratings now. David Raya is going to get many critics today. That second goal from Mudryk, although Mudryk definitely didn't mean it, to be beaten at that angle, positionally all wrong. There's going to be a few people picking holes in these games today. And once again, Gary Neville was one of them. Thoughts on Raya today?
Not great, but I'm not a goalkeeper. I thought Gary Neville was very harsh on the second goal. I think he's been having a go at Raya every week. Every time I see him commentating on Raya, he seems to try and pick out Raya on certain things and mistakes. Look. I'm not one of them who's going to blame him too much for that goal. The mistake, where he passed it out and it was intercepted, probably worried me more than the actual goal. The mistake for me was Odegaard and White. They asked it up basically, and the blame went on Raya, and I think that's unfair. I really do think it's unfair because, look, he was off his line, but there was things that happened before that have got to be looked at. Odegaard's pass, giving it away. White, was involved as well. He was at fault as well by on that side as well. The little move between Odegaard and White, that's where the mistake occurred, which made them then go down that line, and then for Mudryk to do his cross that actually went in the goal. So I think it's unfair, very unfair. And yeah, I do. I don't think Gary Neville. I know we have a go at him, but I do worry about his footballing abilities, football knowledge sometimes. And yeah, I think he lacks it. And I know people say he's a good pundit. I don't believe it because I see things differently from him. And he may have played the game for a long while, but I couldn't give a shit, to be honest with you. I think I know more than him, which I'll come to in a minute, which is something that I called right from the off. But yeah, look, Raya, I'm not going to give him a 6, which will probably surprise some people. But yeah, look, I'm giving him a 6. I'm not blaming him for the goal.
Raya gets a 6. I think the problem is if any of goalkeepers in goal, then people are going to pick apart where he is, what he's done there, positionally, how that's gone in, how you've been beaten from across, and his position was wrong. He was caught off guard by a shot that was not a shot and it's a cross.
Yeah. If he had done that cross properly, we wouldn't have this conversation now, would we?
No, but I agree with regards to the one that worried me more was the one where he was the poor pass. And he was closed down.
Can I ask you something, Kiz? Can I ask you something? Like you're a goalkeeper. Do you position yourself differently from someone who you think is going to shoot at you, or someone who's going to do a cross? Is your mind in different places?
Yeah, but it's a fine balance between, because you still have to be ready, but you still have to be ready for shot, because if you're a keeper that's setting themselves up early to be in a position for a cross, then a player can just shoot, which is why you're seeing more players shoot from audacious positions, because goalkeepers are very far off their line nowadays.
Yeah,
they're very far off, and they're told to be. But I think his positional sense was wrong anyway. Even if he was coming out for the cross, he's too far at his front post. He's too far forward at his front post, and he's left himself too much to go back, to track back, just in case the cross is slightly different to what he's anticipating. It's a risk. It's part of the. It's part of the risk that you take if you're going to play that sort of as a goalkeeper like that. But the thing is, what
the pass that
the pass. I thought it was a poor pass. Should never have made that pass. It was too rushed. And Arteta can talk about. I'm asking him to do that. I'm asking him to do that. And I get drawing in a player to then pass off into a space, but there's margins. There's fine margins, and you're putting a player who has the least ability with their feet on the pitch to do those things that even if you was to ask a midfielder or a centre back to do that, you'd still be a bit like, because you're asking the player to draw a player in to create space, and I get it. I do get it, but I don't personally think that Aaron Ramsdale got the same backing in terms of when he was doing that last season. It was, he's making me feel shaky. He's worrying me. But now this season, Mikel Arteta says I'm asking him to do that, and it's just like, it's those sorts of things where I don't mind the ruthlessness, because I think it's important if you're trying to build a team that is asking themselves questions and always wants to be the best that they can be. You have to be ruthless. And now but you have to be fair with that. And you can't, for one person, turn around and go, oh, yeah, I'm asking him to do that. And for another person, people are still sitting there and asking, why is Aaron Ramsdale holding on to the ball too long? He needs to get rid of it. He looks shaky. He's letting the ball run past and things like that. So I do want a bit of fairness when we're talking about that. I do feel like he's doing this because he's put himself in a position where he's taken out a goalkeeper who has, in all fairness, not done anything wrong. And he's brought in another goalkeeper because he's talking about the fine margins which this goalkeeper will bring me. And that's going to be scrutinised until we can see those fine margins come to fruition. So he's got to expect that. he's got to expect that. I think it's standard, especially when you're talking about the differences between Ramsdale and Raya. We're not talking about the difference between Jesus and Nketiah. It's a lot. It's a lot different. It's a lot different.
I mean,
Cool.
I'm sorry, Arteta's caused this problem, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? These questions wouldn't be answered. You know, Ramsdale was kicking the ball out last season to Southampton players. He made mistakes last season, Ramsdale, but they don't get mentioned. Alisson's, but because we've got this thing where we've got two goalkeepers fighting for the same position, it gets bigger. It gets highlighted. You know, this will go on all week now. This will go on all week. This is what I'm saying. You know, this will be on the Arsenal side.
The end of the season, for honestly.
It'll just go on. But the simple facts are, I've not seen one Arsenal fan blame who should have been blamed for that goal, and that's Odegaard and Ben White, which are the reasons why that goal was scored. And things like that frustrate me. Arsenal fans, probably a lot of Arsenal fans, probably don't even notice it, probably didn't even see it, probably don't even watch it. You know, they've just seen Raya, they've listened to Gary Neville. I'm trying to tell people, Arsenal fans out there, go watch it again, see whose fault it was. You know, and if we're going to call Raya out for being off the line, go and call out the others for losing the ball in the midfield from when the goal was scored in the first place. So let's not have this witch hunt of David Raya. Do you know what I mean? Because it ain't going to do anybody any good.
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not. Steve said Ramsdale's better in my opinion. It's not seen you in a while, Steve. Good to see you back, mate. Good to see you back. Look at Ramsdale's passing to midfield Odegaard last season quality. It's not even that. It's Arteta wants Raya to play in a position where he plays as a sweeper, and he doesn't feel that Ramsdale is as comfortable in that position. And Raya is more comfortable in that position. So while
the thing is, Keys, if if Aaron Ramsdale goes in goal, say into Champions League on Wednesday, whenever it is, or Sheffield United on Saturday, the eyes of the footballing world will be waiting for Aaron Ramsdale to play it out from the back and make a mistake.
Yeah,
and that's what's going to happen there. And that's what's going to happen. So as soon as Ramsdale makes a mistake, the Raya fans are going to go, oh, well, we wanted Raya. He can't. He's just as bad. And this ain't good for Arsenal. This ain't good.
This is what happened when Raya wasn't even at Arsenal. This was happening when rumours were going out that Arsenal were looking at Raya. This was what happened when Arsenal brought in Raya, and Ramsdale had to deal with that. So, as you're saying, this is a rod that Mikel Arteta has made for himself, and it's gonna, eventually it will go away. It will go away
when someone leaves.
William Saliba, not so much the Rolls Royce today as we normally expect.
No, it wasn't great, was it today from William Saliba? There's no dressing it up, whether it was the conditions or just that. Because look, I mean, I don't think Chelsea were that good. I mean, a lot of people going, but Chelsea were the better side. They may well have been, you know, by a smidgen. You know, but they still couldn't beat us when we, by our standards, were shit.
Yeah,
more than poor by our standards. So and they still couldn't beat us. They still looks in that last 15 minutes like a very poor football team to me. But Saliba, no, I mean he was 5 today. 5 looked. Mind you, good. 5. Yeah, I'm going to go 5. Nothing glaring mistakes, but didn't look as comfortable as what he can be. So 5's probably I'll go 6 for Saliba.
6 for Saliba. Gabriel.
I'm going to go 6 as well. Again, Gary Neville tried to call Gabriel out many times through the football match. Again,
I understand that. I really understand.
I do, and you'll get my view on it anyway when we come to someone else, right? But again, lack of knowledge from Gary Neville because he never mentioned what I'm going to say next. at all. But look, Gabriel, I thought he had to work hard today. Yeah, for a specific reason, the sixth.
Yeah, I thought that Gary Neville was trying to poke holes in some of Gabriel's game, but there was a couple of there was a couple of times today where Gabriel saved. I can't remember who it was.
I can
put two really good blocks, and it's a couple of really good blocks. It didn't really get mentioned or really highlighted, and I think that's because Neville had already pointed out something about Gabriel, which was never there, and then didn't want to backtrack 2 seconds later.
I think he had a go. He had a go at for Gabriel coming across and leaving his man in the middle and getting Saliba and both together. He called him out on that twice during the game, and other things as well. He was quite blatantly, for some reason, he's liking to have a pop at Gabriel. But anyway. Sorry, Zinchenko.
Yeah.
He's lucky he's going to get a 2.
Yeah, he wasn't good.
He's lucky he was rubbish.
Yeah.
Absolute rubbish. And if he's going to defensively, everything fully, mate. I just thought he was absolute rubbish, and he never got called out once by Mr. Know-it-all Gary Neville.
Yeah.
He was at fault for the first goal because he came into midfield, right? Gave the ball away with a sloppy pass when he came into the midfield. Which, look, I think Arteta's already spotted it. I think he wants someone else to do that. I think we spoke about it last week on the Arsenal show, how we sort of worked out that Timber he's going to take Zinchenko's place. And on the performance of Zinchenko today, you can see why. Gabriel was trying to save Zinchenko on many occasions. He was having to come out of position because he was caught out of position. He was giving the ball away constantly, time and time again.
But Sterling had it was the easiest game for Sterling's day. Like even when Zinchenko was in position to defend, there was not enough pressure on Sterling. So all the crosses that Sterling was putting in were just going to the players because he was so far away from his man. I didn't understand what Zinchenko was doing this day defensively. And I know he's not the best defender, but it was far too easy for Sterling. Far too easy.
But what he's doing, Keir, on top of that, right? We've always known he's not a good defender, which I don't think's he's got to be a better defender than that. And I think Arteta has, recognised that by bringing Timber in.
Yeah.
But when he's coming forward this season, he hasn't been nowhere near the player he was last season either.
Yeah.
So he's just giving the ball away. I don't like doing this about Zinchenko because last season he was unreal. This season he's been poor beyond belief.
Yeah.
And look, he's class on his day, and hoping that he can change it. But and I was calling for him to come off at half time, and I couldn't believe that Gary Neville was again calling out other players and never mentioned Zinchenko once. When the goals were scored, that it was his fault, that he was blaming Gabriel's for this and Saliba for that. And I'm looking, can't you see? Can't you watch? And he never said anything about Zinchenko at all through the whole game and how poor he was. And when at half time, and he said, and Arteta must have been looking seeing exactly what I saw, right, and was gone, you're terrible today, off. He brought Tommy Asu on at half time. And I'm nodding at the TV, and I'm thinking, I'm nodding at the TV, saying, I think I've got to phone up Sky and ask them if they want my services. I think, fucking my life. And I just baffled that apparently he's a good pundit and he can't see that. I'm like, I can see it. But again,
what did you see, Zinchenko?
He's lucky to get a free. He's a free. I'll give him a free. But he's lucky to get that.
Russ says, what a poor 80 minutes. To play centre back with Zinchenko outside you is like playing two positions at once, huge area of space and cover. It's exactly what Steve was saying, and what we've both said is it wasn't called out by Neville, which was very, very odd. They said Gary Neville is a clown. How the hell do you get paid for this crap? To shout is beyond me. He definitely has something against Arsenal. The joy you can hear the joy in his voice at how well Chelsea played in that first half, because Chelsea played well in the first half. We were shocking. As soon as we got that goal, they crumbled. They absolutely crumbled. So it'd be interesting to see how they recover from this. Because there's been a lot of talk from Chelsea fans talking like what Arsenal have done is just something that they're just going to do inherently, which is crazy. Zinchenko says Zinchenko was the wrong choice to start. Arguably, Havertz should have started. That's interesting coming from you, Russ.
Did well when he come on. Did well when he come on.
Where Ben White.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't difficult, but I thought, up to a point, Ben White was probably our best defender at one, early on. But then again, as the time it went on, Ben seemed to sort of drop down to the levels of some of the others on the pitch.
I don't think he was great today at all. Going forward, I thought there was nothing from him going forward. So once they got me excited because he got a lovely ball in, actually. He cut it back along the ground. And was that when I was shouting at the TV because Jesus would get up onto him in a bit? Should have just taken the first touch just to get it past the defender and then hit it. Just little touch, just so it knocks it past on the turn and then bang on the turn. I don't know whether it's going to go in, but it's more than what he was trying to do, where he was trying to hold it up. And that was the one time I remember Ben White getting down and actually getting a ball in the box, which was anything. There's a couple of attempted crosses and stuff like that, a couple of crosses into the box, but nothing killer today from him going forward. Defensively, okay, but yeah.
But it was his fault. It was his fault for the goal. He gave the ball away. He gave the ball away. He gave a loose ball to trying to give it to Odegaard. And, and then, the player got in front of him. Odegaard sort of won it back and then lost it. And then Ben White's out of position and, them two were responsible for the goal. But, 5 for Ben.
5 for Ben White.
Should dye his hair back. I think I've seen back one of his worst games, that was.
Yeah, he's getting pelters in training for that one. Declan Rice.
Yeah, Declan, he was all right. Declan Rice, I mean, got us back into the game with a great finish. I know the goalkeeper made a mistake, but it was an excellent finish. It wasn't a vintage.
A lot was made of the mistake. But for him to put that in from how far out he is, as an excellent finish.
Yeah. He improved as the game went on. Do you know what I mean? He's probably up there with probably someone else I'm going to name as probably our best player on the day. Give Declan a 7. Yeah, look, great finish. Gave a silly ball away right early on, first couple of minutes, but he did his best on his own really to try and get that midfield going because not really anybody else was doing much in there.
Yeah.
So
his midfield partner, Jorginho.
Yeah. He was sort of just there today, didn't he? Didn't really grab again. It seemed that Declan Rice had to sort of, he didn't really get much help from Jorginho. It seemed one of his very quiet games. 5 for Jorginho.
Yeah, I'm guessing Thomas Partey must have been injured because I would have expected him to have come on from the change, although he did opt for Smith Rowe in the end. But I was quite surprised that there was no Thomas Partey in that game. Because today he looks like he's back to fitness. But
Yeah, it might have been saving him.
I do expect more from Jorginho because I think, like you said, he was just a body. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, he didn't do much wrong.
Bad.
No,
and there's a couple of times I actually remember the ball sort of. He was so much of a body that at times the game was just past him, where the ball was going from one end, it come back down the other, and he's chasing back the other way, and Declan Rice is overtaking him. He's not got the best pace. What he has got is good positional sense, and when you're not seeing that today, or when you're not seeing that in his game, the game's just gonna pass him by, and it definitely did today.
Yeah.
Another player, I don't think had the best game today is Martin Odegaard.
Similar to Jorginho, just the body. I don't remember anything of note, nothing of note that I can say Odegaard did. And I wouldn't say this was his greatest, where we could say, oh, he didn't have a good name, but he worked his nuts off. Yeah. I can't really say he did that, even did that.
Do you know what? It felt like the pitch was very small today. I don't know whether that was Chelsea filling in the spaces, but I'm sure that Stamford Bridge is normally like that, but it just felt very small, very compact, no room for anyone to do anything, and Odegaard definitely felt that. There was a couple of times where he did try and make things happen, but for some, I'm going to put it down to the fact that Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Jesus haven't played together this season. However, they do train together, so there should really be no excuse. But there was a couple of times when Odegaard's put a nice ball through, and Gabriel Jesus was running in the opposite direction, and that happened twice. And I was just, I just astounded. I don't know what was going on today with the communication. There was no cohesion up front with any of the four, from Odegaard to Jesus, Saka, or Martinelli. There was nothing. We'll get on to individual performances, but as a forward line, it was nothing today. There was no fear for any of those Chelsea defenders for anyone to play. What did you give Odegaard?
5.
Yeah,
just the body. Don't remember again. Similar to Jorginho, just can't pick out anything he did or anything he did wrong. But the work rate weren't there. He can always get away with an extra mark or two sometimes, Odegaard, with work rate. But tonight, it just wasn't. I can't even say that.
Yeah. Gabriel Martinelli.
Yeah, look, I mean, I thought he was the best of our front three, which again ain't much, to be fair to him. But he seemed to be the one with the ball that was trying to go round, get involved. I can remember him on the ball, running at players a couple of times. He did get a couple of shots off at time, not great shots, but shots. More shots than any of the others probably did in the game.
He was trying to take on a man, trying to get the ball in the box, trying to make things happen. He seemed like there was at least some danger coming from that side.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult to mark him. I mean, I gave Gabriel and Saliba 6s. He was probably, obviously, a little bit, what might just not fair on the defenders, really, because they're never going to get involved up front and be, do much effect to the game. Because players like Martinelli stand out more. But yeah, it's a high 6. It's a better 6 than what Gabriel Saliba is. But yeah, I'll give him a 6. He wasn't as good as Declan Rice, I would say. So yeah, it's a high 6. But yeah, 6.
6 for Gabriel Martinelli. Yeah, no, I thought he looked the most lively.
Yeah.
And he looked the most live. He looked like the player who was actually going to cause some trouble. I just get that from any of the others. Bukayo Saka.
Poor. But the trouble is, you keep him on the pitch, and you can see why, because you're having a go at him, but he got that cross off for the goal. which was an absolute fantastic cross.
Yeah.
So you can see why Arteta keeps him on the pitch, and so that was a world class cross. But other than that,
Was it a world class performance?
No, it wasn't. No, mate, it wasn't even. At some points, it wasn't even a performance, mate.
No,
it was. He was poor. There's nothing, until it got to like that actual cross in the last 20 minutes, where he started to sort of get hold of the ball more and run at the Chelsea defence a little bit more, which he probably got a kick up the arse from one of the subs that have come on, and so maybe it seemed to he got better when Havertz come on. Funny enough, that's how it seemed to pan out, because then Havertz was holding up the ball, he was strength, and he was laying it off to Saka in the right areas, which Odegaard certainly wasn't doing, and Ben White certainly wasn't doing, coming down from defence. So, but he was a 4. He was a 5, and he's got the cross. Oh, he's very lucky. He's very lucky. I'm going to give him a 5. I know it was a good cross. Tempted to give him a 6 because of the cross, but he was awful. Up until the last 10, 15 minutes. He's probably lucky Havertz come on.
I do wonder why he was so quiet today, because I know that in previous games he's not been at his best. He still had some good games this season, but he's not maybe been as exciting on the eye as he was last season. I fully expect him to grow into the season a bit more, but I do wonder how much that first couple of challenges on him had an impact today. Just come back from his ankle injury, and straight away Marc Cucurella puts a slider on him, and then who else gets booked because of the challenge that they're putting him, and then for the rest of the game he's just quiet. Just quiet.
Yeah.
I do expect more from Saka. I do talk about how people want to label him as world class. I do say he's still in his developing years, but even if he's developing years, I expect more from him than we saw today. I want to see him take on players more. That's where his game needs, in my eyes, it needs to progress. You need to be able to take on a man. You need to be able to drop your shoulder, take it past him, switch speeds up. It's just part of your learning. I think he's had it before previously where people didn't expect certain things from him, didn't know his game. And now players are watching you. Players will sit in deep. Players will put that early challenge on you to see if you want it for the rest of the game. These are the things you've got to expect as you're getting older, as you're progressing, as you're getting these titles as world class. So you've got to expect it. It's going to come. It's quite a long one there. How you doing? Lads, as a front 3 or 4, it's tough going. The ball's constantly slowed down in our midfield. We're asking the wide players to beat 2 players who rarely get on the ball, get the ball to the front 3 quickly. And I think Galvo, what we've got to do is we've got to make defenders think. Yes, Saka does that by dropping in and it doesn't go beyond him, but that's where we need a right back who's going to go on beyond an overlap. So it does make them think. Right now, I'd said early on in the season, I think what Saka seems to be, there's the things that he's missing in his game. I'm putting down to the fact that Ben White's not getting beyond as much. He's not stretching the play. The fullbacks don't have to think much about anyone going beyond them. They've just got to concentrate on Saka. And I think he will benefit from a fullback who's going to start overlapping a bit more. But there's certain things in his game today which were just not good enough. Like it just wasn't good. Whether we're talking about getting the ball up to him quickly, it wasn't. And how can we say that so far this season that Saka's had one-on-one opportunities where we're hitting teams on the break? We can't say that every time he's taken it beyond, because I've rarely seen him do it this season. He's not been taking it beyond the fullbacks. most of the time this season he's been cutting back and crossing it early. That's what I'm seeing. How you doing, Noah? Good to see you. But it's a good. It was a good. It's a fair point there, Galvo. It's a fair point. Nice comment.
Yeah, it is a good point. It's a good point.
Jesus, Gabriel Jesus. I thought he was very, very poor today. What? Just not on the same wavelength as any of the midfielders.
Yeah, I don't know what's the matter with him today. We've been sticking up for him all season, saying, "Oh, we don't need a striker. We've got Jesus, but we need a striker who's going to just. I don't want him to keep dropping deep. He drops deep too much, keeps coming back too much. He's like I see him in the left back position, right back position. I see him in midfield. I want a striker who's just going to be in that area or buzzing around just outside it or going left to right. I just want him in that final third. I don't want him doing any more work in other areas. But he didn't do nothing today. He didn't show. He didn't make runs. Again, similar to Odegaard, sometimes they can get away with bad performance. You can say, "Oh, he worked his nuts off." He didn't. He just did not look up for it today. There was so many Arsenal players, but I don't know. I think they just stayed in the dressing room, and other players got them out. Again, you can argue that it was the substitutions who saved the day yet again. Similar to the Man City game. But Jesus, yeah, I mean, people are going to ask the questions now. Again, do we need a striker? Do we need a killer? Do we need a proper number 9? Yeah, I mean, look, if you can do that, Arteta can do what he does with a goalkeeper, then he should be able to do it up front as well. But I don't want to sort of, it's early in the season, and yeah, he was just off it today. But he does need to score more goals. I mean, even if he's, you don't mind him scoring, but he wasn't even getting shots off. He was no danger at all. Whoever was marking him probably had their easy will go home and they won't even feel tired. They've had an easy Saturday. But no, again, didn't do nothing wrong, just did nothing. And yeah,
I think
5.
Yeah, I think with Jesus, and he often gets criticised for his charts conversion, but it's the chances that he has and misses. There was none today. Like there was nothing. That's the problem. There was nothing, and he's a player that I like, that I can take when he's not scoring goals because he brings so much more to the game. I fully agree. He's not in the attacking third enough. I don't mind that he drops in to midfield to get the ball because he's looking for the 1-2. He's going to start playing and finish it and get into the box.
Yeah,
but he's not. He should not be in a defensive position. He shouldn't be. And if he's tracking back to chase down the player where he's lost the ball, different. That's completely different. We saw Martinelli do it where someone lost the ball and Martinelli knew that player was not going to be able to get back in time. So he sprinted all the way down, won the ball back. He ended up losing it in the end, which was annoying. But he retrieved the ball back. And that's different. But
yeah.
Jesus is far too often it's exactly that. Why are you standing in left back?
He does
for the ball.
Yeah.
It's too
exactly.
much.
It's like the Martinelli thing that you just brought up there. That's his job.
Yeah.
Yeah. He lost the ball. Then he run back. He got it back. Yes, he lost it again. Okay, fair enough. One of them things. Yeah. But he knew that he made a mistake. He tried to, retrieve the mistake. But Jesus just pops up in positions where you don't want him, where there's no need for him to be. Is he told to do that? If he is told to do that, I'd like to know why he's told to do that, because it will make a hell of a bit of sense. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
let's
start of the
see.
season as well. Remember, only second start of the season.
Yeah, you forget that, didn't you?
Yeah, and I think I did just forget that. I did just completely forget that. He's only his second start. It's going to be disjointed at the moment. Saka's just come back in. Martinelli's been out for a while and has just come back in. Players need to get used to each other, but it's that. we're in campaigns now where we want to win trophies, and there's no leeway. You don't get much room for error when you've got Man City as the bar. So, and you've got Liverpool breathing down your necks. You've got Tottenham on form. He's putting pressure on everyone, every game. That's why when we drop points, it's frustrating. We're looking for reasons why. We're looking for what we can do better next time. People will want to point the blame at someone. It's just part and parcel of it. A couple of points there from Noah. Says Jesus is like one of them people who's absolutely insane and gets really shit and then comes back. He needs to get back into momentum. He's just been trying nothing. Look, I think he's one of them. He just needs to get back into momentum. We saw it last season before. Yeah, we saw it last season where he was out, he come back in, looked good for a game or looked good as a sub. Then he came back in for a start and he was like, whoa, what the hell is this performance? And then it starts to get back into it. It's going to happen. I think he came back in. When he came back in, he looked shaky, he looked rusty. Then when he came back in the next game, he looked like a world beater. We were wanting to start him. But it's clear it's going to take a little bit more time than that.
We got Sheffield United next week, so at home. So yes. I think so. So it's a good chance for him to get to at least two couple of goals or something. Get his confidence 100%.
Back. And he's got to be thinking that. He has to be thinking that. It's a good opportunity to me to get some goals today. I'm going to be greedy or be in and around the area. He's got to. Got to. Tomiyasu.
Yeah, you've already said it. It was like night and day when he come on. You know, the breath of fresh air. You know, so levels above Zinchenko when it comes to defending. No, he's not as good as Zinchenko coming into the. Well, I don't think he hardly came into the inverted midfield at all, really. But you see him doing a lot of work down the lines. He seems to he works with Martinelli so much better than Zinchenko works with Martinelli. Tomiyasu did really well. He was strong in the tackle. He's a big unit, old Tomiyasu. I'll give him for substitutes performance. So I'll give him a 7. Give him a 7 for that.
7 for Tomiyasu. Yeah, I thought he shored it up a lot more.
I think play him next game. Play him next game.
Yeah, I think that sort of ruthlessness does need to come into Arteta's game on players where you maybe you wouldn't expect him to be dropped because they do such an important job in the team. But I think defending needs to be coming first when we're talking about basics. When Zinchenko's not getting the basics right and Zinchenko's not bringing that sort of extra additional player in midfield, which is making a difference. He's not spraying those balls left, right, and centre. He's not He's not really creating anything. Even as a left back position, when he's getting down the wing and looking for the early ball, which is something he's very dangerous at. There's just nothing there. There was no danger. Just good. Who else do we have that came on first? Smith Rowe came on as well.
Yeah. Dodgy start, I thought. I think he gave the ball away and then he sort of passed the ball to Martinelli and it went behind him and I thought, oh, God, here we go. This was when it was at, 2-0. Yeah. But then after that, he started to get into the game a bit more. Played and one thing I did notice, those two, mistakes that I just called him out on. When he moved, whether he was told to, but he moved into the middle more and more over to the right hand side. Funny enough, but in that right hand sort of midfield, in the middle of the midfield type of thing, sort of Odegaard position. And when he went in there, he was so much better. He had control of the ball more. He was pinging it. He was passing it off. And I thought he did quite well. So, I give him a 6.
6 for Smith Rowe. Yeah, I thought the same. I was like, there's one player you don't want to come on and look rusty or look off the pace is Smith Rowe, because you just feel like
Well, no.
he's the player that if he
wanted to
comes
do
on
so
and has
well.
that sort of performance, it's over. He's not going to get that other chance. There's too many players that can play in his position that aren't doing that at the moment. You bring on Fabio Vieira at the moment, it seems like he's making a difference in the game. You bring on Trossard, he comes in and scores a goal. Like, this is the difference. So when you're coming on now, hail end boy or not, you've got to show something. You've got to do something which is going to keep you in the manager's thoughts to come on in the next game and potentially start. We're coming up into cup season as well, where he's going to be able to get opportunities, but he's still in a position where he may not even start the cup games because there's other players. So you do have to do something when you come on in those games, in these games. So, yeah, no, I was glad that he started to play his way into the game in the end. Yeah, there was definite worry. Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah, thought he'd look lively. Thought he did all right. Probably got a needless booking. You know, Eddie sort of like, you know, standard getting every one of them every now and then. But I thought he was run about. You know, he was dangerous. Very unlucky not to put us 3-2 up. You know, I thought he did really well. Got between the two defenders, got his foot in, and nearly steered it past Sanchez in the corner. You know, more than what Jesus did. You know, while he was on. Yeah, and he did all right. Eddie did all right. I say none of the subs really did bad at all when they come on. So yeah, Eddie, yeah, he probably did a bit more than what Memel did. 7. Thought he did all right.
7.
Yeah, well, 6. I'm thinking just because I'll give him a 6 then. When I said 7, I thought that's too much, Steve, as soon as I said it. Yeah. But I'm just thinking of like he was unlucky. He nearly put us 3-2 up. I thought he did excellent, and I give Smith Rowe a 6. I'm thinking maybe I should give, but yeah, yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult when the players are so close together, isn't it? Yeah. You know, it's like a 6 or a high 6. So, but yes, go on. I give him a 6. 7 is a bit much.
What else we got? We got Leandro Trossard. I'm doing that order. Trossard.
No, Trossard was excellent when he come on. Fantastic goal, fantastic finish. Looked dangerous. Got to be an 8, innit? I mean, it was a great finish, weren't it? I mean, the way he just steered that past Sanchez.
Lovely finish. It wasn't just a slide at the back post and tap it in. He's had to angle his foot so it goes back the other way. It was perfect. Couldn't have done anything different to score that goal. Lovely cross, lovely finish.
It was fantastic. Perfect. It's got to be an 8, I suppose, isn't it? We've got to give him an 8 for his cameo substitution because he was obviously better than Smith Rowe. So,
We talk about. I was speaking about Smith Rowe earlier about having to come in and make a difference and make sure you're in the manager's eye line for future games, cup games, or whatnot, so you can sort of start pushing your way into the team and getting on the pitch earlier. Trossard has been one this season who's been scrutinised for his performances this season. He's been played left, right, and centre. Played up front in the game, didn't work. Starting the game on the left didn't work. It just seemed like maybe just what needs that bit of consistency in his games and a run of games to sort of get back. But it's hard to have that. It's hard to have that, and especially when Martinelli comes back from injury, makes a massive difference in the game. He's going to get the start.
Yeah.
So what do you have to do when you come on? When you come on, you've got to make a difference, and he's certainly done that.
Since he's been at the club,
go on.
No, I was going to say, since he's been at the club, you know, he's been a 9 out of 10, isn't he? You know, if you're going to mark his, but if you've been, I mean, you know, we can only, you know, we only talk about game for game. So if he's had some poor games, you know, he's had some poor games, but you know, if you mark it, and he has recently, he's been great this season. Today he was like the Trossard that we know and love, and from last season, and in a way, it's like, well, yeah, we expect that of him. That's what we expect of Trossard to come on. He comes on as sub. He always gives 100%. He's not one of these players that seems to, you know, have to play himself into the game. Or some people come on and they're, you know, they don't do well as a sub. he's someone who just comes on and just gets on with it, and he's liable to win you a football match from coming off the bench. And they're very few far between. But as I say, we only mark him on game per game. But if you're talking about how Trossard's been since he's come to the club, you're giving him a 9 out of 10 all day long. He's been phenomenal.
I think once you get 10 assists in his short time from the start of January when he came in to this season, and look, he's had a couple of off games. He's been played in 3-4 different positions since he started this season, and look, he come on today and he made a massive difference. Scored that goal, lovely goal. And I just wanted to point out that the other day when Martinelli scored that the goal against Man City, or the deflected goal against Man City, one of the players who was straight over there, who came off for Martinelli, was Trossard, cheering with Martinelli. So for all the Neville wants
his
to
mate,
say,
isn't it?
and all that Neville wants to say and Carragher wants to say about players rubbing their hands at other players taking their spot or doing something bad or having bad games, absolute garbage, mate. This is a team, and that's how you win things. That's how you win things. Trust me. Trossard is a bit underrated. I think it's cool. Trossard definitely could be our super sub. Chris Ray. Well, yeah, that is a name out of nowhere. Chris Ray. For those
showing your age there, mate.
You are definitely showing your age there, Galva. I didn't even know how old you were, but when you put out the name like Chris Ray, mate, I know you're nearly in your 40s or at least 40, 100%. No one pulls out the name Chris Ray. I'd have said like a Sylvain Wiltord. Made a big difference. Won us leagues as well.
Yeah.
Very
very
player.
similar.
Very underrated player. And Kai Havertz.
Yeah, again, I thought he did excellent when he come on. Very he did more or less a carbon copy of what he did last week, or before the international break in the game against City when he come on. He held the ball up, laid it off to Saka to give the cross in. So, he laid it off to White to pass to Saka to get the cross in, but he was the one who held the ball. So. Yeah, and he was good when he come on. He held the ball up well. His passing was good. He gave the forwards up there something to think about, which was a little bit different from Jesus. It's still difficult to work out what part in the team he's going to play, but big up to him.
He came on as in the 8, didn't he, today?
Yeah. He sort of in the 8, and then he was sort of, a couple of times he was moving out to the right, which really, I mean, that's how he started his career, playing on the right hand side at Leverkusen. That's where, he was one of the most wanted players in Europe. About just before he went to Chelsea, he played on the right hand side, so he did tend to pop out over there quite a bit. But yeah, again, big up to him. Come on against City, similar to Trossard, did the job. It's come on today. Was part of the, quite important to the win in the end. I'll give him a 7.
Okay, 7 for Havertz.
He gives you a different type of performance. I don't know what. I'm still a little bit baffled of what we're going to see from Havertz. What I don't know myself what type of player he is yet. It's he seems like a bit of everything. Do you know what I mean? Rolled into one.
I still think that there's because I've been watching some of Havertz from when he first came to Chelsea, and I think that they've still knocked a bit of his dynamism out of him, because I feel like when he first came to Chelsea, he was a bit more dynamic, a bit more like direct as well, and I think that we could do with a bit of that from him, just a bit more tenacity in his forward running, because I do like his composure, I do like his calmness, but I think he can mix that up. I think he can mix it up. As we know, some of the best players in the world, that's a big part of their games, slowing down the game and then hitting it with injecting it with a bit of pace when we're here and when needed. So, I think he could get goals. I think he could get assists. I see him as a potentially like a Michael Ballack sort of player. And I think it just take time. I think they knocked the stuffing out of him at Chelsea, and I think we're slowly starting to see a little bit more game by game of what he can offer. Arsenal need a couple of signings in Jan to push us on, I think. What are you thinking? Noah says, I've just heard the news about Bobby Charlton dying. Yep, our thoughts go out to Bobby Charlton, who sadly passed away today. I think it was 82, was it?
86, I think he was. 86.
86, I think it was.
I think
86.
Yeah.
Absolute legend of Man United, legend of England, World Cup winner. It's a sad day for football for when Bobby Charlton's passed. And it was 2 years ago as well, which his brother Jack passed as well. He was 86. Yeah. And finally, Mikel Arteta, Steve.
Mikel Arteta team. I mean, it wasn't a bad team, was it? That he put out there. Would it have been would it have been my team? Obviously, Jorginho and Partey. I can see, I wasn't like that bothered that Jorginho was playing. It wasn't like, oh no. So I could see probably reasons why he wanted Jorginho in there. So there wasn't a lot wrong with the team. He made the substitutions right at the time. He got Zinchenko off at half time, which I was calling for when the whistle went for the first half. I was thinking get Zinchenko off, and he got him off, and his substitutions for me changed the game again. So, and you get games like this. We were 2-0 down. We was playing poor. Even to be fair to them, their goals weren't great goals. One was a miss-hit cross, and the other one was a penalty. Whether that was debatable or not,
what was your thoughts?
I don't know. I by the letter of the law, it's a penalty. When I see it, I thought they're going to give this.
Yeah.
Because we've had them, with the hands out there, but it's like Jamie Redknapp was saying at half time. How can that be a penalty? I just don't know who are the lawmakers in this. We've got to get some people in that knowing what they're doing. Because at the moment, I mean, this season's been absolutely awful. But back to the penalty. Yeah, look, it was a penalty by the law, but I think these laws have got to be changed because it was pretty ridiculous. I will say on the other hand of that, I thought Cole Palmer should have been sent off. And I don't know how he was still on the pitch. He had no intentions. That was reckless. That was dangerous. The ball had gone, and he took him out. So literally,
I was quite surprised that Thiago Silva didn't see a yellow for his foul. It was only the second
there was that one.
It was only the second one that later on that he actually got a foul. He got a yellow card for, but he didn't get a yellow card. For the one where he slid in and his both feet are up. And if you actually look at it in slow motion, he does actually leave the ground. And that's like, I understand what they're saying in terms of like he looked like it, but he wasn't. And this studs up is one thing. Coming in from behind, we saw it last week or the other week with Kovacic against Arsenal on Declan Rice and on Odegaard, and we'll see it again. But the protection is meant to be, if the studs are up, we need to see a red card. We didn't even see a yellow for it. Like there's no.
What did you?
Go on.
What did you think? I don't know if anybody else see this in the comments, Kieran. What the Jesus one where the goalkeeper took him out, took his head off? Was it just it wasn't. I mean, maybe I'm missing.
But I think the only
I'm missing something.
The thing for that is the header was won earlier on by was it Martinelli won the header, so the ball had already gone past. So I think that's probably why he didn't get anything for it. But I'm surprised the goalkeeper didn't get a yellow card for that, because he just absolutely cleaned him out. Nowhere near the ball.
Yeah,
cleaned him out. Absolutely wiped him out.
I mean, just back to the Saliba one. I mean, you know, in the halftime break when like there was Hasselbank and Redknapp, how does Hasselbank come out with the fact that
I know.
You know, that was a
Hasselbank
clear
was
and
speaking with his chest on that one
what
as well.
What is he talking about?
I don't know. Look. No. When I saw it, and I said it in my What Makes WhatsApp group, I said, that's a pen. Because the letter of the law.
Yeah.
Not because I'm saying that's a pen, the letter of the law. For me, it's far too close. Now, if his arm's up there, like Jay read that, if his arm's up there with the ball, that's one thing. If his arm's up there and the player heads it from there, the player is about not even a metre away from Saliba. He's absolutely bulleted the header, and Saliba's jumped in. It's harsh. It's harsh. By the letter of the law, it's a pen, but I think you need to look at that, because for me, it's too close. That ball's coming in too quickly. It's not fair. Not fair. Man United, Sheffield United have equalised. Man United a penalty from Ollie McBurn. Sorry, Steve. What did you give Mikel Arteta?
I give him an 8. We never won the game, but but yeah, I think he did well again. Good tactical substitutions.
Yeah, made a difference in the end. Made a difference. Yeah, look, it was a tough test today against Chelsea. Chelsea have just started to get into a nice run. They've got some confidence now. I think you're probably going to see this Chelsea team go on a really good run from now. It seems to happen once you get a decent result against Arsenal. They were better than I thought they would be, but yeah, this talk where I'm seeing Chelsea fans talk about this team is going to be the team that's going to challenge for a title in 2 years' time. That's absolutely laughable.
What?
Absolutely laughable. When I see that Action Jackson RoboCop come up front as well, and had the opportunity to finish the game off and make it 3-2, and he did what he did and allowed Raya to grab the ball from his feet. I was like, this is the guy that's going to spearhead your team to a league win. No, not
to a title.
Not a chance.
No, I tell you what, you got to remember as well. Like, I mean, they're 2 goals today. One was a penalty, and one was a misshit cross.
Yeah.
So put it into a bit of perspective. You know, do you know what I mean? Man City,
Chelsea's best this season. They got a 2-2 draw from Arsenal where they were 2-0 up, and they couldn't even hold it. You want to talk about bottle jobs last season, because Chelsea are one of the most vocal teams about how Arsenal bottled it. You were 2-0 up with 10 minutes to go, and you bottled it. Embarrassing. Don't talk to me, Chelsea fans.
Yeah.
Please do not talk to me. Keep it stum and take the point that you got today, and leave it as that. Based on today, who would you take from their team? Good question. Would you take anyone from their team based on today, Steve?
What if everyone's fit? If everyone's fit, you mean?
If everyone's fit, you're taking James.
Yeah. But if you're talking about,
Reece James don't play.
Yeah, but
he never plays.
No.
Could you imagine if we took Reece James? It would be a nightmare, mate. It would be a nightmare. It'd be always injured. It would never be able to get a run with him in the team. It would be like Bellerin Mark II. It would be horrible.
Yeah, Enzo at stretch, maybe. It's about the only one.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Thiago Silva was outstanding today for Chelsea. At 39 years of age, the guy is still, like, we talk about Saliba as a Rolls Royce, but if we're talking about Rolls Royce and vintage cars, it's Thiago Silva. Like, that guy, on about 3 or 4 occasions, I saw one of our players go to running at him, giving all the jinky, step over. Thiago Silva just went, nope, just took the ball off him. Just stuck a foot there, stood up and went, boom. He's like,
40 though, isn't he? He's 40.
I train with Ronaldinho. I train with some of the best Brazilians you've ever dreamt about. No, sit down. Not today, mate. No, I thought for a 39-year-old, he's still their best defender. Absolutely.
39, isn't he? 39?
39. It's crazy. Enzo Fernandez, I didn't see anything today, which was too much of a hype. Sado, again, did see.
Probably nobody, actually. Reece James, if he was fit. That's about it. Reece James, if he was fit.
Mudryk, I know they got really excited about what he done today, but come on, if that's what you're paying £90 million for, you can have him. Like, honestly, nothing I saw in Mudryk today.
He looked so pissed. Even when he scored, he just looked. I'm fucking. He just said, "I don't want to be here, man."
Yeah,
he looked so.
There's nothing. There's nothing. I don't see what they're going to do with him. I don't see what they. I feel like he's a player that needs moulding, and I don't think Chelsea are just not a club that seem to be moulding people. They do the moulding at the youth stage, and the rest of it you gain from experience. This guy needs some structure, needs a direction of what he needs to do, because otherwise he's just going to be a loose cannon. I don't see anything in his game which is exciting in that way. Like, I think if he was at Arsenal, you'd see a bit more of a Martinelli-like player, someone who's got a role to do, knows what they've got to do, and they're gonna hit that every time. At Chelsea, he's just everywhere, and I don't think like that's that player. I think he needs to be guided, and I don't think I'm not seeing that at Chelsea. I've seen it a bit more than what I did under Potter and other managers, but still, and it's still early doors for Poch. But I didn't see anything there today, which I think we've missed out, especially when we've got Trossard as well. And yeah, maybe I'd take Sterling as a backup to Saka. That's about it. Cole Palmer.
He's on his way. He's on his way. He's on his way.
Cole Palmer looked good today.
I don't know about Cole Palmer.
I think he looked good today, and he seems to trouble us every time he plays us. But again, it's another attacking midfielder. I know he plays on the right, but look, he looked good today, and he was playing as a number 10. So, not anyone.
Yeah,
I'd still stand by.
I don't know if he's any. No, it's true. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thank you for everyone who's joined us today. The comment section was absolutely buzzing. Stephen, Galvo, Noah, Russ in there. Thank you very much for your comments today. Make sure you smash that like. If you are new to the show, smash that subscribe button. Make sure you hit us up on Tuesday at 8 o'clock for again, we're going to be going this one. We're going to be talking about this one.
Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? We got the show this week.
Oh yes. Sorry. It's the post-match reaction of the away game to Seville in the Champions League on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. You haven't decided what day we're going to do the show.
Yeah, so post-match.
Make sure you join us after the game against Seville. I'm hoping we're going to be in better spirits because off the back of a 1-1 draw to Chelsea, I just totally forgot we've got to go away to Sevilla. It's going to be such a tough game.
Yeah. I don't feel totally bad about today because I'm in the mindset that we was really poor. Yeah. We was bad. There was the international break. There might be reasons why the players were a little bit off. Mm-hmm. And we've come back and we've ended the game on a high.
Yeah, 100%. So I think you have to take positives today. Because for me, again, it's not a Southampton. It's not a West Ham. This is Chelsea.
No. Man City lost against Wolves. So.
Yeah, and they're going to take points off of some other. They're going to take points off a team. So yeah, it's good that they haven't taken 3 off of us today. And I think it's just because we're used to taking points off of Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in recent years. But so be it. It's not to be this time. 2-2 draw. I like the way we pulled it back, especially with 10 minutes to go. It looked like we had nothing left, but we still managed to salvage a point from it and crush the hopes of Chelsea for another week at least, because they were ready. They were ready to come out with the daggers today, and I'm sure they probably will in some of the comment sections to tell us if this. You must be having a laugh if you think this Arsenal team is going to win the league. Well, we will see. Thank you for joining us tonight, people. Peace out. Stay safe.